Braun Strowman has re-signed with WWE and return plans have been revealed. A top star is done with AEW for the foreseeable, and an AEW star and Ring of Honor champion is out with injury. Stay tuned. Choo-choo! Braun's coming back. Braun Strowman. It was announced yesterday via PW Insider. They have reported that Braun Strowman is indeed returning to WWE. Multiple WWE sources confirming that to them. And also, you're not going to have to wait very long. Might not be at Clash at the Castle.
No.
Also Clash at the Champions.
Clash at the Champions?
It's going to be Raw. This coming Raw. Braun is... He's given up controlling his narrative. He's coming back to do big things, hopefully, in WWE. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was... Thoughts? Yeah. It was a surprise, I think, after he headlined Backlash, and then he was gone. Not long after that. You got a headline person right there, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. I think Braun sort of got into his stride a little bit more towards the end, just before he got released as well.
Yeah.
I think he really started to show a lot of improvement in the ring. And it was just a big surprise. So, I mean, I'm quite looking forward to this. Me and Tom were talking about yesterday, other than sort of Omos at the moment, there's no other real big monsters in WWE that I can think of, at least anyway. And Omos hasn't been utilized on TV in the last few weeks.
No.
So, I mean...
nobody a giant, there are big guys.
There's big guys, but they're not I don't think to the size... tallness of Braun Strowman at the moment.
No. And you know what? He can go now. He actually had some really decent matches. At the beginning, when he came in, he was useless. When he joined the Wyatt family first off, couldn't run the ropes. He was really, really green. And he did. He made a lot of improvements. I think they really harmed him with some of the presentation stuff, specifically as well, the choo-choo around the ring. Awful.
With the noises as well.
With the noises. But there is money to be made in Braun.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know, this might sound horrible, I feel like he's a bit damaged goods. Not because of any of the stuff that he's done away from WWE, but... I don't know, to me, toward the end, he was getting better, but he actually felt like less of a big deal. This might just be personal preference.
Yeah.
And this, this is just my opinion. He was one guy, it was a big shock when he was released because he had been headlining pay-per-views, former Universal Champion and all that. But actually, I was like, I'm not going to miss this guy much. So I hope he comes back and does some cool stuff.
I mean, fingers crossed, at least, more of a character is developed for him, because I think that was what was missing too, other than just big man does
big train.
Big train,
big train
does big
man.
Raw, and then that's kind of it. So hopefully there's a little bit something of more substance for him when he comes back, because I think genuinely I think you could make a compelling character with Braun Strowman given the right tools.
He's not bad.
No.
He's not bad. Maybe this factors into the Wyatt stuff, and we've been talking about Wyatt coming back for God knows how long at this point. But if Wyatt comes back, maybe there's something that they could do together there. Although I'd prefer to see Wyatt on his own, away from Strowman.
Yes.
Moving over to the AEW side of things, a top star is done with AEW for the foreseeable. Will Ospreay tweeting, "For the foreseeable future, my time with AEW is done. Thanks to Tony Khan for having your own mind and not listening to Kenny Omega's attempts at blocking me from coming to do a few matches for you. We are even for now, Ken. Keep your mouth shut and we won't have any issues."
Ooh.
I really like the drama.
Me too.
He's so out there with it. Ospreay, he's just calling him the C word.
Yeah.
It's
pretty big.
Stuff like that. And I think it's a work, but there's enough of it that feels real, and it's sort of behind the scenesy a bit, and it makes me at times go, "Oh, is there something in that? Maybe I don't know."
It feels a little bit different to all the other drama we've been hearing about backstage in AEW. It feels a lot more of tongue in cheek than everything else. That feels a little bit too real almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that a lot of us have wanted to see for a long time, and I think it's the right thing to keep it ticking over, perhaps until the next Forbidden Door pay-per-view as well. Build it a little bit, let it breathe. Yep. We've seen it for a little bit. We've seen that Kenny Omega's not necessarily at 100% at the moment with the injuries. We know they're playing into that with storyline. So then to finally come back round to that pay-per-view where perhaps Kenny is back to 100% is going to be a really fun thing to watch for a lot of people. And
sure.
I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be awesome.
I don't think it'll be too long before we see Will Ospreay back in an AEW ring. But he did say, I believe it was to Meltzer, that he's toning down, or he's doing fewer dates. He's doing less in the UK. He's doing less overseas generally. His focus is New Japan, but he's even doing fewer dates there. And I mean, Will Ospreay's beaten up, Kenny Omega's beaten up.
Yep.
I don't know if they'll ever be 100% again. They're knackered, aren't they?
I mean, they've put a lot of themselves into the business, haven't they? And you can see just with the way that Ospreay's changed up his finisher. Now he does the hidden blade. Obviously, it looks devastating, but it isn't as taxing on the body, I don't think.
No.
From all the flips and everything that he does. So I can see him in AEW down the line as well. Like making that his permanent home after a little bit.
You reckon?
Permanent. I reckon so, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Some lovely news coming in from Impact. We've seen new Impact Tag Team Champions crowned last night. Clap, clap, clap.
Sorry.
On last night's Impact, the OGK, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, of course, defeating the Good Brothers to win the tag team titles. Two incredibly talented wrestlers right there, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. This comes at a time where Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are reportedly exploring their options all over the place. It's looking as though they're not going to be sticking around in Impact. Their contract's ending pretty soon. There was speculation about them coming back to WWE, but apparently those talks fizzled out. I know Triple H was pretty high on those two.
Yeah.
He did really like them. I think they were fine in WWE.
Yeah.
And I think they were... in like AEW and the Impact crossover stuff and all that. I honestly, I never got the hype about them. I think they're cool. I think like their comedy's really good.
Yeah.
They've got tremendous chemistry with one another. But I don't know, there was something with them that was just like, oh, okay, they're decent. Never anything more than that to me.
No, I completely get that. I think I feel like they lost something after coming back from New Japan and doing the WWE stuff. Like something just, it didn't click right, possibly to do with maybe creative stuff.
Creative was bad, a lot of it.
They didn't have a lot of control over their own stuff, and it's unfortunate as well because they did sort of seem to be a little bit bland after a while.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, maybe we'll see something change a little bit now. Maybe they do go back to New Japan with Bullet Club sort of like blowing up once again with Jay White at the center of everything. So maybe we will see something a little bit more exciting from the two.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, congratulations to Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Tony Khan is less optimistic about an AEW/WWE show, a crossover, Forbidden Door show, if you will, on working a joint show with WWE. He commented during an interview, I was pretty optimistic when they first made the change, but I'm less optimistic now given how they've treated me. Khan didn't elaborate on what he meant by this. I mean, that could be WWE approaching AEW talent. I know they have to send out a legal warning or there's some kind of formal warning to them regarding that. So it's looking less likely now. No. To be honest, did anyone think it was going to happen? Like sincerely think it was going to? Did you actually?
Well,
what's in it for WWE?
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, that's
you get
right?
a good buy rate on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then you give the competition loads and loads of exposure on your huge platforms.
No,
I don't get
right.
it. If I was in WWE's position, I'd just be like, no, of course not.
Yeah.
There are way more negatives than there are positives for WWE.
No, I agree. Like, it's going to be difficult to balance those. The sharing in the spoils of both these companies, right? Like, it's hard for them both to probably divide between the two. It was just one of those things, wasn't it? I think when Triple H came into power, it just felt everybody felt a bit more optimistic, I think, about just the landscape in general and just even the idea of that. I think because obviously Triple H has he's helped hone a lot of the people that are now on the AEW roster, and perhaps with sort of relationships there, maybe something could have happened perhaps, but it is looking more unlikely now, which is a shame.
Ultimately,
I never say never, you know?
It's not even a Tripp's decision, is it? It's Stephanie and Nick Khan deciding if they want to do it their end, and then Triple H would come into it in the creative aspect. I don't know. It would be amazing. Of course, it'd be cool. There's loads of dream matches there. We can book them until our fingers bleed on our keyboards, and it's fun. It's fun to do, but do it in 2K22 because it's not going to be happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Sad news now, as an AEW star and Ring of Honor champion is out with an injury. On that media call, Tony Khan was there promoting All Out, and AEW star and Ring of Honor Women's Champion Mercedes Martinez currently out of action with an injury. The nature of that issue was not disclosed. So hopefully she gets well soon. She last wrestled on Death Before Dishonor and then did a Northeast Wrestling event the following day, but hasn't wrestled since then.
Yeah, it's a massive shame as well, because I think hopefully soon Ring of Honor splits off, doing its own thing from what AEW is like. Hopefully there's not too much of a crossover between the shows, and you want to showcase your women's division, and Mercedes Martinez is a great champion and a great wrestler too, and you would have wanted to have showcased her and the belt as much as possible before like full on splitting off and doing your own thing.
I think there's too much going on AEW weekly shows at the moment. I think a lot of more casual fans, for want of a better word, are finding it difficult to keep track of what's going on, and I think a proper split with less bleed between the brands is actually quite important. And we are finishing on trademark news, specifically trademark opposition news. John Wayne Enterprises, who preserve the memory of movie actor John Wayne, have filed an opposition to WWE attempting to register several Duke's Poker Room trademarks relating to NXT star Duke Hudson. They claim that the public perceives a connection between Wayne, aka the Duke, and poker, so it would potentially cause confusion. Thoughts?
Would it though? I don't think it would personally.
The Duke's Poker Room. Yeah, there's a connection there for sure. Who's going to buy it anyway?
I don't know. It just adds to the many other wonderful set pieces that we do see on NXT 2.0, further broadening that wonderful universe.
There you are. We'll keep you updated on all John Wayne news, as well as some wrestling stuff. We'll be back very shortly with video too. Take care of yourselves. In a bit.